What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the More Than Philly Sports Network. We are ecstatic to be back. I know we had a little bit of some time off, but we have a lot to go over today. We are back. We have the energy. We got the bold predictions. We got the controversy. It's all here today, 6:03 p.m. on the East Coast, the 19th of July in 2021. Gavin doing his best Rocky imitation over there. As always, joining alongside my co-host, Gavin Tony. Gavin, welcome back to the show. It is great to be back here with all of our viewers. I'm excited to be here. It's going to be a good one today.
It's going to be a great one, Zach. For the last time people saw us, Conor McGregor did not break his foot the last time we saw him. And, Zach, we didn't go on vacation, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we took a little day trip down to the beach. And mini golf-wise, Zach, it wasn't a good showing for you, boy. I'm 0-2 in New Jersey. Avalon and Atlantic City, not my favorite places, but no, I'm just joking, Zach. It was all fun. But real quick, I asked you, the baseball swing, is it still like this or no?
We're fixing it. We are fixing it. It is slow but sturdy. We have to make a trip out this week to the batting cages again to see some improvements. I'm excited for it. But with that being said, yeah, fun week last week for us. Busy as all hell for the both of us, but we were happy to get out there. Got to go to both Atlantic City and Avalon. We had a fun time. We enjoyed both of them quite a lot. Had a long walk on the beach walk. I mean, it was hot out and all, but then we went to Avalon, drove everywhere, so it was pretty chill from there. I was pretty happy with the trip so far, and we got potentially one or two more coming up here in the summer.
And the food, Zach. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen. The first place, what casino were we in, Zach?
We were in the I think it's pronounced Bally's.
Bally Casino is called Harry's. Bally's or Bally's. If you're ever in Atlantic City, go there. Harry's will not disappoint you, Zach. They said they didn't have no seats for us. They looked like a whole bunch, so we got to sit at the bar. No, ladies and gentlemen, we did not drink. And what was the last place we were in Avalon?
I forget the name of it, but it was just really. I mean, both places were great. Harry's Seafood, I think it's called the Oyster Bar, and we did not get oysters, unfortunately. But maybe next time we'll have to go and do that. But I got myself some tuna tartare in a martini glass. I loved it. It was delicious. Obviously, had to go with the Cobb salad because every place makes it different. I'm telling you. It might sound like it's the same. I swear. They add something to it, whether it's a different fish, whether it's a different way that they cook the chicken. Every place has a different type of Cobb salad, so I got to try it when I go out. And, of course, the appetizer was something different. And then for the life of me, I can't remember it, but we went and we got some really good wings. Gavin, did you ever eat your wings? Did you ever have a chance to have those?
Yeah, they were
it was half barbecue, half, I guess, buffalo sauce. And it was just really, really good. And also –
oh, y'all can't see that. Hold on.
And then also the jerk chicken was spicy, but it was good. It was served with rice and the special sauce. Yep. And we had tropical – what was it called? Tropical coleslaw, I think. It was coleslaw with some pineapple in it. And it maybe doesn't sound the most appetizing, but it was really delicious. It was really, really a good trip.
See this?
10 out of 10. I was able to drive us there, obviously. Gavin, I hope you had a smooth ride with me driving. It was a pretty easy drive for us. So some recommendations. If you want to make a day trip down the shore, that's a good way to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who were able to see or not to see, that was my pulled pork sandwich that Zach took a nice little bite out of. I was playing. But, Zach, listen, the food was great. The jerk chicken was amazing. And the ice cream after a while, Zach, that I did end up making a trip to the Buccaneers ice cream. It was good. It was delicious. And the whole day was fun. By the way, Zach is not a big fan of minivans. Having said all that, let's get into it.
And it's just some of the drivers behind them. But in all seriousness, look, it was a fun trip overall. I had a chance later in the week to go down to Maryland for the day to go tubing on a boat. Tubing is not my best skill, but I try to still have fun while doing it. But hey, back to reality, back to the great sports world. A lot has happened. Let's begin the show with a little bit of highlights of what has happened in the last week. Dustin Poirier, of course, defeating Conor McGregor last week in a TKO, they called it. He was unable to continue. McGregor, doctor decisions landing on his foot, unfortunately breaking his ankle. Not much on that. Again, I would like to see a rematch. I think it's not the best way. I don't think Poirier really wants to be known as the winner based off that. But Poirier did look like he was dominating a lot of that fight, and McGregor was on the defense a lot. It changes. It's a lot of rounds that you can fight in UFC. So I'm not sure who would have won. I went into that fight thinking that McGregor would lose at some point. Of course, both splitting the first two. But I think Poirier, up to that point, had earned the win. Again, it's a matter of time. So whatever happens, happens. But, if Dustin decides to step out of the octagon against McGregor, I don't blame him. He's, money-wise, he's set, taking care of both of them more honestly. And then, of course, able to secure the win. And it's not the first time he won. It was the second time beating McGregor.
Well, Zach, first of all, I was really disappointed in that fight. All right, for those who may not know, I mean, I like staying up, Zach. I don't like
It was
staying
pretty
up.
quick. I mean, yeah.
It was pretty quick. I mean, Zach, you stay up to watch all those boring fights, then you finally get the main event, and the man snaps his leg, and the two, and it's over. Having saw that, Dustin Poirier looked in control of this whole entire fight. Conor McGregor just doesn't have it. The time he spent away from the ring, from the actual UFC octagon, and he goes to fight Floyd Mayweather in boxing, and it looked like a pitted fool out there. I mean, Zach, that's the money team. All right, he made $100 million and didn't win. I mean, I guess Zach, I would do it too. But Dustin Poirier was in control the whole time. Now, Conor McGregor said that he fractured his foot, stress factors, and they knew. I was like, I'm not believing it. I really do believe in one of the check kicks. He fractured it there, and ultimately on a step back, trying to load up the punch, he just. I mean, Zach, if you watched it, ladies and gentlemen, you watched it, you saw it. We all know what happened. To step back and the foot never went forward. But Zach, what's next to Conor McGregor? That's the next question. I'm curious to see. There's no one. I don't think he can ever beat anyone to that stature. I mean, Zach, early in the year he fights Cowboy Cerrone, and that fight was lasted quickly. But Cowboy Cerrone is not really, a notable opponent. I think the reign of terror of Conor McGregor is over. And I hate saying that because I like the guy, especially the trash talk. But it's like and also too, it's like I gotta give the man credit. His mouth gets him in a lot of trouble. He backs it up. But it's like when you snap your leg, you shouldn't be talking. You should be just hush. Seriously.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of his comments immediately following that fight, but that's who he is, and he makes a crap ton of money doing it. So I'll leave it at that.
I got a good laugh out of it. I'm not gonna lie. I got a good laugh out of the comments. But at the end of the day, Zach, I think the reign of terror of Conor McGregor is over. But Dustin Poirier might need a belt pretty soon.
Look, he's getting there closer and closer. The American native, of course, I was rooting for him for that reason. Of course, it was a good fight in the beginning, and then it just became very quickly to an end. That's unfortunately how it happens with a pay-per-view sometimes, with, as Gavin said, all the other major fights that are on. But with that being said, in the golf world, the Open Championship was this weekend. We were watching some of the early warm-ups when we were down the shore. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, pretty good golf. Yesterday, spectacular golf. I had the Phillies on in the background, the Open on. It was just a great ending to the tournament. Louis Oosthuizen, again, unable to convert a 54-hole lead. But the 24-year-old, Colin Morikawa, in his debut in the Open Championship, comes out on top. Jordan Spieth made a great run at it, just came up 2 strokes short, unfortunately. But Spieth, of course, now rises to number 2 in the FedEx Cup playoffs, and Morikawa is number 1. And he's the first player since Tiger Woods, before the age of 24, to win the Open and the PGA Championship, both of which he did in his debut in them both. People forget about Colin Morikawa. He's a phenomenal player. His swing is like butter. It's a beautiful swing. I try to model mine off of it. Obviously not so good. But look, bottom line is this. The majors are over. You have the Olympics next week, so the PGA takes the week off. It's kind of quiet. But then you get right into the Northern Trust. You get into the BMW Championship. You get into the St. Jude event. And then you get right into the Club Championship. It's coming up on us very quickly. Of course, before all that, in the middle of all that, you have the Ryder Cup. There's a lot of golf left for those of us who are following the PGA, for those of us who just follow that. A lot of playoffs, by the way. 2 tournaments are going to be near us. The BMW Championship is in Maryland, just west of Baltimore, about a 2.5-hour drive. And then another 2 or so hour drive up to Jersey City for the Northern Trust. Someone's trying to get some tickets. He might be able to get at least 1 or 2 of the days from each of those. So stay tuned for that. If I can go do some live reporting while down at one of those events, I'll be able to find out for sure. But with that being said, there's a lot of golf left. The Ryder Cup, of course, and the Olympics are first. But I'm excited. The playoffs are going to be really exciting in golf for people that who don't understand how the playoffs work. It becomes interesting because majors, it's one and done. But the playoffs, it's a continuous line for the best players in the world. The Tour Championship, the top 30 best players in the world based off of how they did this year. It's a phenomenal tournament to watch. Dustin Johnson, of course, coming out on top last year. Dustin Johnson, who looked pretty good this week, became number 1 golfer again last week after a better performance than Jon Rahm.
You know what happened? What happened, Zach?
Well, he goes on to do really well. What's that, Gavin?
You know what happened? I didn't pick Dustin Johnson this week. That's what happened. You know who I picked?
My pick came in second. Spieth came in second.
But you know who I picked? You know who I picked, Zach? I picked Jon Rahm. I picked John Rahm. Look, guys, this is what happens when Tiger Woods isn't golfing for me. I just bandwagon to the number one golfer. I mean, I'll admit, I'll call it, Zach. I mean, I told you when we were eating lunch, I said, I'm not going to pick Dustin Johnson. It's not fair to him because I keep making him lose, so I picked somebody else.
He had a good week, and that kind of brings us to our next topic in the golf world. It's been spoke about a lot. Before that, of course, I'm going to pull up the leaderboard so that we can just analyze where all the players stand before the actual chatter. Because there has been some drama, of course, in the Open Championship. First place, Colin Morikawa finished at 15 under total. Jordan Spieth, 13 under. John Rahm, third place, not too bad, of course. Louis Oosthuizen and Dylan Fratelli coming in third and fifth. Brooks Koepka, the one I wanted to get down to, finished up in sixth place, another top 10 finish. He was 8 under total for the tournament. Dustin Johnson tied 8 at 7 under. So the top golfers are cream rose to the top for the most part. But one golfer I really want to focus on, he's been a favorite of mine for a little bit of time. I respect a lot of what he's done for the sport, is Bryson DeChambeau. And a lot of the year, he's had a pretty good year. He won the U.S. Open last year. This year, he won the Arnold Palmer Invitational, almost drove the par 5 green, which he said he would get near. And he was first place in the FedEx Cup points in the race. Ever since then, it's been downhill. The Masters was a struggle. The U.S. Open, he played really well until the back nine on the last day. He was in the lead at one point, and then just completely fell off. It was really hard to watch. PGA Championship, he struggled. The Open, he struggled the last day. Barely made the cut. Shot 5 under to have a 2 under total. Tied 33rd. Not good at all. But he has gotten himself in quite some trouble lately. Him and Brooks Koepka have had a little back and forth. 2 weeks ago, him and his very long-time caddy and friend Tim Tucker split up. New caddy misses the cut at the championship he was defending, and then came to the Open this week. Played really bad. The first day, he said, yeah, my driver sucks. Cobra responded to that, saying that he was acting like a child, came out and apologized, kept his mouth shut, went out there and played pretty good golf the rest of the weekend, but not good enough. So Gavin, he does lead the field this year in driving distance at 320.1 yards. He does lead the field in strokes gained driving the ball. But he's getting himself in a lot of trouble, and it's very hard to defend. He's not a troublemaker. He's a 27-year-old, went to college, came on tour, won the U.S. Amateur, D1 player, big guy, became stronger. You don't see drama when you look at golf, especially a golfer. You don't see drama with these guys. Maybe Sergio Garcia throwing a fit, or when John Rahm used to get mad and throw his putter into the pond. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that golf gets mad at. But Bryson DeChambeau just got himself in trouble this week, and it's been a few weeks brewing with the caddy change, with the controversy between him and Brooks Koepka. So, Gavin, I got to ask you that. I mean, what are some of your thoughts? I just kind of gave the entire timeline of the last crazy year for Bryson DeChambeau.
I don't have a problem with it. And here's why, Zach. For a guy who's, I'm going to say golf noob, Zach, I'm not really too in-depth in it, but this is good for golf. You need a little storyline. I'm gonna go back to Brooks and Bryson. First of all, who would think two golfers named Brooks and Bryson would have been arguing? I mean, throw a billion names in the head, and those are two names you pick, and they're arguing. They got to be Zach. I like that stuff. I like the intensity between these two guys. I like the trolling. I like the jokes, the back and forth. You hear what Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and the little golf match that they did with each other, which by the way I thought DeChambeau did pretty well.
He did actually. He had a really good showing there.
But I mean, these are not bad offenses for Bryson DeChambeau. They're not. He's just not going out and doing the most. Like, I have no problem with it whatsoever. I honestly think that it might be great for the sport of golf for people like me who would like turn it on and be like, okay, well, I wonder what he has to say now, or when it is. It's like, I have no problem. I actually really like it. And if he says his driver sucks, I mean, it's like he is, like you said, he leads the whole entire PGA this year in yards per drive, which is 321. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
321. If he says his driver sucks, don't you think it's going to tune in and be like, well, what is he mad about? Because like, I remember, I think it was the Masters, and you're right, the early it was the April Masters, or not the April Masters, the early in the year, the November one. And I watched him drive a ball. It was like good 300 something. I said, wow, this man could really rip it. And I came on the show and said that to you. But now a couple months later, the next Masters around, he didn't have a good shot. He actually looked like he was struggling badly. He's like missing the cut multiple times. This is good. I think he might be I don't want to say favorite, but if he leads, it's like whatever he's saying is doing something right. But in the golf world, I can see why people say, I like it. It brings a sense to the sport that gets a little underappreciated. sometimes.
Yeah, it brings out some of the competitive side that people don't really think about. But look, for him, just my driver sucks. Coming out in public saying that, it's kind of like saying my equipment sucks. I mean, your equipment supplier is who pays you. Cobra and Puma, which are the two. Usually, a golfer, they have a clothing brand that they align themselves with, and they have an equipment brand. Jordan Spieth is Titleist and Under Armour. John Rahm is Callaway, and I don't even know what is. I think Adidas maybe. But for Bryson DeChambeau, I mean, Cobra and Puma are owned by the same company. You don't want to get yourself in trouble with your equipment team. So just some thoughts from the maturity standpoint for a 27-year-old golfer to come out and criticize his equipment on Thursday, which of course is contracted, but you can't take that away.
But Zach, you're a golfer. Not every day your driver works. I mean, Zach, me and you, we went to second swing or first shot. I can't remember the name of it. And we sat there and we fixed your driver. Now, the frustration.
Which looked good today, by the way.
It was good today. That's
yesterday and today was good.
Now, in golf, it's a frustrating game. It's like I did not have it at the beach. All right, I had a nice couple of putts. I didn't have some good ones. Man, that putter sucked. I really wanted to say it. But if you are the company, if you're the supplier, I get your frustration with the golfer. I get that. But don't you see his frustration too? I mean, I'm playing both sides here. I'm playing both sides. If you are the supplier, he didn't come out and say, "Oh, these clothings are cheap," and this. He said, "Yo, my driver sucks." Are you supposed to take really mad offense? I can see you be upset about it, but I wouldn't take mad offense to it. Maybe he had a really bad day. Zach, I had a really bad day in Jersey. Guess what? I said this driver sucks, and guess what? I'm going to go in maybe a week or two, whenever we get a chance to go putt again, and I'm not going to say my putter sucks. It just happens. That's a game. We say in basketball all the time, I can't make a shot today, and you keep shooting. Was the team supposed to be mad? I really don't see the big problem in this. I really don't.
Yeah, it's intriguing. I think that the golf world can definitely get. It's a mellower crowd. It's not as riled up, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not insulting the golf crowd. I'm a golf fan myself. But it definitely is a little bit more sensitive to certain things. And I think this is just one of those situations. There's tons of times where people overreact to things. I think golf is one of those sports where overreacting happens quite a lot. It's going to continue to play out. The bottom line is, they say, 27-year-old who's a major champion, who has won multiple events and continues to push the game further. I'm confident he'll figure it out, and I'm still going to support him and put my voice behind him, because I still think he can put some good moves together. He's reinventing the short game. Last year, he was the best putter inside of 10 feet. It's going to be better send some extra golf clubs just for that reason, for sure. Look, I think that as I said, this is a young player, a rising star. Puma's not backing out from working with him. He's not falling off the face of the earth anytime soon. And just remember, Ricky Fowler, a player who had a very great start to his career, and not an overwhelmingly great start, but a good enough start where he was able to win a couple of smaller events. He's been struggling the last few years. Jordan Spieth is another player who has struggled horribly, and he's quite known to be the chatterer on the course. Even yesterday, you could hear him talk. He's finally finding his groove again. Guys lose their groove; they find it back. In golf, in professional golf, the margin of error is much smaller than for someone like me if I'm having a bad day. But for these golfers, a bad day is 2 or 3 bad shots. Rory McIlroy, in that same boat. A Nike and TaylorMade sponsor, for those who want to know his sponsor as well. But I think that it's a cool sport. It's unique. It's different. Anyone can win on any day. Anyone can have a bad day. Anyone can have a good day. Relax, pump the brakes. Like I said, let me just pull it up for a minute. Bryson DeChambeau is the 6th best golfer in the world. There is a world rankings for golf. And to be number 6 is not nothing.
Zach, if he's having a bad day, being number 6 is not bad. I'll tell you what a bad day is, ladies and gentlemen.
John Rahm did pass Dustin Johnson this week, because he finished just 2 or 3 strokes better than him, but just barely passed Dustin Johnson, and is now once again the number 1 world golfer. So we actually have an official 2-way race for number 1 in the world.
Well, I'm going with my guy Dustin Johnson. I hope he doesn't lose it. But as I was saying, Zach, a bad day in golf, and you guys remember this too. They're losing on millions of dollars too. It's like I didn't know when you win like a tournament or an open or something.
Yeah, the purse for the top events is $10 million.
Exactly. So
you're getting $3 to $4 million if you win.
So like for us, Zach, when I lost in Atlantic City, the only thing I lost was I just had to hear you talk about it until we went to go eat. Like that's the only thing I had to lose about. But look, guys, a bad day for them, Zach, you're right, is 2 to 3 shots. And for a guy that's known for driving the ball and his driving ability and carry distance and all that, when he says my driver sucks, that's his game. right there driving. Zach, I'm not really too fond about everything else he does because I'm not really deep into him. Zach, like I said, I'm a Tiger Woods guy. This is all new to me this year. I had to pick somebody else. But Zach, you said it best. Best driver, most distance, 321.
Works.
It works. And
Lowest spin rate, highest ball speed. He's changing the sport.
if
Figure it out.
If he says it sucks, ladies and gentlemen, you see why. Because that's his game. He knows it.
But I think also you have to look at it from the manufacturer. There are engineers who put in blood, sweat, and tears.
That is true. That is true.
And Bryson, there's no doubt in my mind Bryson's a difficult customer. Without a doubt, he's a perfectionist. Crazy at times, but there are baseball players, football players, basketball players who are perfectionists. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's hard to work with. But Bryson is one of those guys, and he's trying to take the game and make it into numbers. I'm more of a fan of the feel, but numbers can't go wrong even when you're having a bad day, and he has to just get to that point.
It's like it's not wrong to be perfectionist, and you're right. The manufacturers, I can see where they would take offense to that too. But like I said, that's the man's game. Zach, you're right. He's trying to change the game where before we wouldn't really see 300.
Trying to overpower the courses, and they might have to adjust them because of that.
You might have to date Zach.
I wrote a book report on this. I know it sounds nerdy, but I had to write a report on this at the end of the school year. And one of the things I cited on it was that the DeChambeau, they are actually having to make golf courses longer. 7,900 yards, 8,000 yards because of players like Bryson, because of players like, everyone's driving distance is going up tremendously. Is it the golf ball? Is it the swing? Is it the equipment? Is it the whatever? You can't deny the strength that Bryson DeChambeau has, even if he doesn't have his best day all the time.
He's changing the game, literally changing the game as we speak. They're making longer golf courses at guys like Phil Mickelson and the older generation.
Phil has had to increase his driving distance just to keep up.
Just exactly, and he's got more tactical. I'm interested to watch, especially the future. And Zach, I'm going to end I always end my final golf statement as I can't wait for Tiger Woods to come back.
Hopefully it's sooner than later. Next season's potential looking bright for him. Just to recap the top 10 in the world golf rankings. Jon Rahm, number 1. Dustin Johnson, number 2. Collin Morikawa, the winner of the Open Championship, jumps up to number 3. He's 24 years old. Number 4, Justin Thomas. 5, Xander Schauffele. 6, Bryson DeChambeau. 7, Brooks Koepka. They're right on each other's tails. A .004 divisor difference in average points between the two of them. Patrick Cantlay at 7. Louis Oosthuizen at 9. Koepka at 7. Cantlay at 8. Oosthuizen at 9, and Harris English at 10. Jordan Spieth at 14 on his way up. Not many other notable names on here. Phil Mickelson, 32. I think that's pretty cool. I guess that big win he had a little while back was pretty good for him. And then, of course, the list goes on as it continues to get lower in the top 100.
Zach, that was a good moment in history right there. That was the whole world.
I think that was. That was probably one of the best highlights of the year for sure.
Zach, it was I'll relay it back. It was when Tiger Woods won a couple years ago. It felt like everybody was all on one golfer, and we all felt the same pain that he just needs to win. That's what the Phil Mickelson meant this year. So it was good to see, and I'm glad to see that he's 32.
For sure. And then, of course, Tiger Woods right now currently ranked 190. It's going to be fun to watch him next year. He hasn't played in a year.
I know, but where's the respect, man?
It's a numbers game. This isn't power rankings. This is just purely numbers. The last time I look at it, I know that golf is not the most exciting at all times for some. It gets exciting for me. If I go up to Jersey City to go watch the Northern Trust, that's gonna be a fun time, and I'll have to document that for sure. It'll be my first live golf event to go to, and then we'll be covering the 2025 PGA Championship at Aronimink Golf Course. Gavin and myself, when we are working with whatever network we're with.
Every network wants to put us. We'll have some fun with it too.
For sure. So number 1, Collin Morikawa. 2, Jordan Spieth. 3, Patrick Cantlay. 4, Jon Rahm. 5, Harris English. DeChambeau at 6. Justin Thomas at 7, Victor Hovland at 8, Louis Oosthuizen at 9, and Xander Schauffele at 10. So FedEx Cup, DeChambeau's still up there, bottom line. That's all I have to say on that.
You said 100 what? I'm sorry. The Tiger Woods is not going to stay with me.
190.
190? Ladies and gentlemen, you look like I can't walk off this set because it's going to take me a minute to get out of my chair. I'm baffled by that disrespect.
It's just numbers. But yes, the next tournament is this weekend, the 22nd to the 25th at the Twin Cities Golf Course in Minnesota.
That's nice.
It's going to be a fun one to watch, the 3M Open. And then, of course, we will get a week off for the Olympics. We'll cover the Olympics, too, later in the week. I'm excited for it. The USA basketball team, we have to talk about it.
Bios. I'm ready for the flips.
Because the Olympic team is having some issues right now. A rise in COVID cases in Japan as well. Does that cause concerns? Before we do dive into any of that, the next discussion that we have, does Gavin owe me an apology for calling me crazy on multiple occasions this season because of this team? Stay tuned.
We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode.
The Tampa Bay Rays are the only team in baseball with an 8-2 record in their last 10 games. Number 2 on that list, at 7-3, is a 3-way tie between the New York Yankees, the Chicago White Sox, and the Philadelphia Phillies. Why is this, you ask? Because they are beating bad teams. They are beating the teams that they should beat, and they are keeping their foot on the pedal. Their offense has been strong and consistent. They have been very strategic with runners in scoring position, and they've given themselves enough of a cushion that not even their bullpen can blow it for them. Joe Girardi has made changes in the lineup, including moving Andrew McCutchen to the 4-hitter, and on top of all of that has been mixing up who he wants to close these games, including Hector Neris saying bye-bye, not getting the ball as much, Jose Alvarado being used in a different form, who actually has a perfect record on the year besides the fact I don't love him. Archie Bradley and Yo De Los Santos have been doing their jobs. Aaron Nola has been consistently mediocre. Zach Wheeler has been concerning to an extent, but has still found a way to get wins. Vince Velasquez, all but one inning a game, is pretty decent. Zach Eflin has been a little bit scratchy. The bottom line is there's nothing perfect about this team right now. Yet they're the second hottest team in baseball. They're 2 games above 500. They're 2 games back of these New York Mets, who gave up 6 runs in the first inning to the Pirates yesterday. They beat them. They won 2 of 7 games against the worst team in baseball, the Pirates, that is. The bottom line is, Gavin, I said this before, and I said this a while ago. Right before the All-Star break, and let me go back to it, because I said this, and Gavin, I told you back then, I said I will make my official confirmation or retraction after the All-Star break. I said this, and I'll find the recording at some point. I believe they were playing the San Diego Padres.
It was, because you were just there.
It was right after they had lost to the Padres 11-1 on July 4th. I said, Gavin, they have 10 or so games before the All-Star break. And then about 2 weeks after the All-Star break is the trade deadline. They have to prove to the owners that they should be buyers at the deadline. Here's what they did. They won 3 of 4 against the Chicago Cubs. And then they won 2 of 3 against the Red Sox to finish at 500. They won 3 of 4 against the Marlins. One of those losses on a doubleheader, the second one. And now they sit 2 games above 500. Unfortunately, Ronald Acuna has gotten hurt. The Washington Nationals have retracted into mediocrity. This is getting closer to a 2-man race between the team I said won't win the division, the New York Mets, and our Philadelphia Phillies. So if you use basic elimination with no bias in there, the Philadelphia Phillies should win the division. However, there are many holes in this team, like other teams. If they want to make the playoffs, they have to make a move for 1 more starter, 1 more reliever, 1 more closer, and 1 more bat. It may come at the expense of Alec Bohm. Who cares? It may come at the expense of draft picks. Who cares? And it's going to come at the expense of some of the farm system. Who cares? This team needs to start winning. They're not going to win the World Series this year. They're most likely not going to make an NLCS appearance. But damn it, they should be able to make an NLDS appearance. You earn a high enough seed, you're going to play a wild card team in the first round. Worst comes to worst, you play the Brewers, or I don't even know who else is.
Brewers aren't even.
I believe they would probably play. Trying to do a quick record. They would probably play the Brewers in the first round, and the Giants would probably play the Padres or the Dodgers, depending on who win that game. The bottom line is there's nothing stopping the Phillies but the Phillies. They have the easiest schedule the second half of the year. They're getting healthier, and they still have problems. And they're still winning games with those problems. All the Phillies had to do this year was just not have as bad of a bullpen as last year, and they would make the playoffs. Before the season started, my bold prediction of the year was that the Philadelphia Phillies would make the playoffs this season and end their 10-year drought. I was called crazy for it. I don't disagree with you. In the dog days, when no one's paying attention, they suck. But these are the dog days, and they're starting to win games. They're starting to put themselves in a position to win this division. They're getting there. And unfortunately for the Braves, they got hurt. The Nationals have some injuries. And now the best player in the MLB, possibly Shohei Ohtani, can disagree, but Jacob deGrom is hurt. The run support is garbage. The offense is mediocre. They are a error-full team. The New York Mets are not good. They are just playing in a weak division. If they were in any other division, they are currently 6 games above 500. They would be in second place in the NL Central. They would be in fourth place in the NL West. And the Phillies are no better than that. But it doesn't matter. The playoffs are the playoffs. It's anyone's game in the playoffs. The Phillies have a chance to make the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. And they have what it takes. I want to thank Ronald Torreyes. I want to thank Didi Gregorius. I want to thank Reese Hoskins for showing up again. I want to thank
he swings.
I want to thank the new president of operations and the new GM. I don't even know their names. One of them's like Domorowski or something. I don't know their names. Who cares? Nobody cares. This has been a garbage franchise, but they're finally starting to do something. Finish the job. We are a little bit more than halfway through the season. We have 78, 79, maybe 80 games left this year. Harper's having a close to MVP year. Unfortunately, no one's paying attention to him because he's not hitting multi-home run homers. They're all solo shots. Reese Hoskins is your best home run hitter. Andrew McCutcheon's turned the clock back. Didi Gregorius is efficient. Jeet Segura is having a phenomenal year.
Jeet Segura should have been an all-star for crying out loud. That's an all-star. Go ahead,
Travis Janikowski, who made a huge blunder in his first game as a Philly, has come out much better since. And on top of all of that, JT Realmuto continues to prove why he's the best catcher in baseball. They wanted to spend stupid money. They did. It hasn't paid off. They're not a playoff team right now. They need some more pieces, but they should prove enough to the front office, and I think they have, that they are buyers at the deadline.
Zach, I don't know how you do it. You're a businessman, right? You're business. You're going to school for business, right? Somehow I'm buying it. I'm buying into your hype. All right, Zach, you're right. I am sorry because I am believing it. And Zach, listen, I heard a comment yesterday that makes me want to apologize today. The Phillies are willing to go over the luxury tax for once in their life. Zach, you know what that means? They are willing to actually spend money. They're not being cheap no more. Yes, Zach, you're right. I don't know who's in the front office anymore. I mean, all I know is Matt Klentak, and he's not even here no more. But I think he's still somewhat roaming his ugly head around here somewhere. Zach, that's neither here nor there. They're willing to spend money now. Go get yourself Craig Kimbrell out of the Chicago Cubs. So Zach, I think they're going to be major sellers. I mean, it's not going well up there in the South Side. Go get yourself Craig Kimbrell. Go get Byron Buxton. I know he's injury prone, but that's a good, Zach, you talk about getting yourself a bat. Well, here, how about this? You get yourself a guy like Roman Quinn that can actually hit and a great fielder. All right, what about that? Go get yourself, you said another starter. This is a long shot. I don't know if they'll do it, but how about Max Scherzer? He's on his final year of his deal. Zach, I know that's a little long shot. Go get your, look, I'm just giving out things that I think would work. Go get somebody is what I'm trying to say. Go get somebody. Don't be the team that looks at the roster and say, we have enough. Because, ladies and gentlemen, whoever believed in Alec Bohm last year, that's false. All right? Jake Cronenworth deserved the NL Rookie of the Year, and this is why. Look who went to the All-Star game and look who digressed already. Alec Bohm can't even fill a fly out, Zach. A pop-up. And they teach us that in Little League, for crying out loud, Zach. In Little League, when we're like 5 to 6 years old, the first thing they tell us is, when the ball is up in the air, make sure you catch it. That's the first thing they tell us. Zach, that might not be the exact words, but you get what I'm trying to say. Joe Girardi has done something to this lineup. Zach, you're wondering how this team's winning. He's moving the pieces around, and you're not seeing Hector Neris as much as you used to. How does he still have a job here? Zach, I really don't know, and I kind of want to know why. You got a guy in Aaron Nola who ever since Zach, I mean, he needs to give us money back. All right, Aaron Nola was walking through the casino, and you went all in on a guy, and you lost, and you lost. The dealer beat us. And then you got a guy in Zach Wheeler. Zach lately looked a little bit shaky, but Zach been the most consistent on all your starters.
Leads the MLB in WAR.
Leads the MLB in WAR. And Gene Segura was an all-star snub. Let that sink in for a second, Zach. Let that sink in. Gene Segura was an all-star snub.
I'll pull the stats. I mean,
The man is having a career year. If not career, very close to it. Zach, Bryce Harper is having near
batting 315.
Bryce Harper's having a near MVP year. Maybe MVP year. I mean, Zach, it's kind of hard to be MVP when I know Ronald Acuna Jr. was making loud noises with the bat. It's like you're right, solo shots and multi-hit games. They're not going to get you MVP looks, but it doesn't go unnoticed. Jacob deGrom is down, ladies and gentlemen. The Mets stink. They stink. It's like they spent all the money and it didn't work. Finally, Zach, beating the bad teams is what the Dodgers did. Remember when the Dodgers won 50 games in the month of July? I think it was 2 years ago, Zach, where they had the best record and at the end of the 1 month they won majority and lost more. That's what the Phillies are doing. They're beating the teams they're not supposed to lose to, and Zach, they're taking the majority. What I wanted them to do last year,
They won 4 straight series now.
They won 4 straight series. You don't got to sweep them. If it's a 3-game, ladies and gentlemen, for those who wasn't following us last year, if it's a 4-game series, win 3 of them. That's the majority. Make sure if it's a 2-game set, split it.
Yeah, 500 above 500 baseball.
You're in 500 baseball. That's just like that, easily. It's like, I love what this team is doing, and you are a great businessman, my friend, because I'm buying in. Now I'm excited about this team. But I'll say this, Zach, and I'm so serious, because when we were driving back, I said this to you. If the Philadelphia Phillies make the playoffs, we got to go to a game. We need to go to a game. We need to figure it out and go to a game. I don't know.
We got to go to a game this week, too, honestly. They're home late in the week against Atlanta.
I'll go.
Making plans on the show, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how things happen. You want to go to Atlantic City one day? Let's do it. But all jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, but Zach, that's how excited I am now. If they make playoffs, I will go spend money on a team that I refused to spend money on a week ago. I'm so serious. I'm not even joking. But Zach, they need to be buyers at the deadline. That's the major point.
I'm excited for it. I hope they stick to their word. With that being said, another name to pop out there. You said Max Scherzer. I mean, that's a big stretch. Washington most likely knows they can still win the division. I think it's unlikely, but I don't think they're going to sell. But another divisional opponent who would be sellers, the Miami Marlins. How about Starling Marte? Last year of his contract, it's a rental. It would be expensive, but he bats 398 at Citizens Bank Park. He is about a 288 hitter right now. He fields phenomenally center field. That would solidify center field every night, Gavin.
Him or Byron Buxton, Zach. I'll take either or.
We'll see. Bottom line is this. There are moves to be made. The Phillies have to make them.
And, Zach, you talk about the farm system, because I hear it all the time. Well, you guys are going to destroy your farm. You can't destroy what you don't have. Okay, you can't destroy what you don't have. Alec Bohm, or as I like to call him, Zach, Alec Bohm, has no worth in Philadelphia, but you can get something for him. You really can. It's like
young player, runner-up in Rookie of the Year last year. There's definitely potential there.
There's potential, but maybe not here. Maybe he needs some new scenery. Zach, he digressed badly. And finally, Zach, Reese Hoskins, after a year of me criticizing him, calling him perennial MVP candidate and all, he swings the bat really effectively now, and it brings a smile to my face.
They're all playing better. They should have a better record if they didn't blow all the leads. If they stop blowing the leads now, they're going to be a good team. I think they will be.
Zach, what makes a team like the Dodgers and Padres and
pitching?
And pitching. It's pitching.
Closers, setup guys, get the job done.
The reason why Atlanta went to the NLCS last year, pitching. Pitching, and they had best to do it. Sadly, they fell into a nuke of an offense in Dodgers, but the pitching took him. Same thing with Tampa. How did Tampa go, Zach? Pitching. What was the downfall of them not winning World Series? Well, you took out Blake Snell. Pitching.
Hasn't been the same since.
And it hasn't been the same since. I'm interested to see, Zach. This is also a year where I hate to say it, but the Dodgers don't look as effective. The mighty West and Dodgers and Padres, which were supposed to be the hyped up
And the Giants out of nowhere now.
The Giants are out of nowhere, and I'm really frustrated with that because
they're playing today at 10:10 p.m. I might be staying up to watch it.
What? Zach starts staying up late to watch the Giants? What is this? Breaking news? But no, ladies and gentlemen, look, there's a will, there's a way. Sadly, one of my favorite players, Acuna, goes down with injury. That leads the Braves almost offenseless. And I'm not disrespecting Freddie Freeman, Ozzy Albies, and the crew, but Acuna was a big part to the offense.
How about you trade for Freddie Freeman?
I would do that.
That's a very long stretch. It's the last year of his contract. He's staying in Atlanta most likely, but
he's an Atlanta guy. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't.
I don't know if Phillies can make some moves in the offseason. They did steal Harper from Washington, but with that being said, coming up after this, the NBA Finals. Last time we were here, the Phoenix Suns were up 2-0. What has happened since? And will Giannis find a way to get himself not in it, but beginning a career that could enter the GOAT talk? Why I think absolutely not. Gavin might think different. Stay tuned.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
Welcome back to the More Than Philly Sports Network. We have a lot of work to do because we were here last. The Suns were cruising 2-0. They got a great group of role players, coaches, defenders, leaders, and scorers. They got everything. But the other side, you got to give them credit. Chris Middleton looks like the MVP of that team. Drew Holiday looks like he's stepping up big time. Giannis just doing Giannis things, which is a huge standard and a huge bar. And he has had a phenomenal series. If the series ended today or tomorrow, if they win, I think Chris Middleton deserves Finals MVP. But Giannis is right there at 2. I think it would go to Giannis ultimately. But I don't think Giannis has enabled himself to enter the chat yet for GOAT. I think it's a long way away. That's it. Nothing personal about the series, but just not yet there. But the Bucks might not win tomorrow. It is in Milwaukee. It's Game 6. I don't know how they do lose. Devin Booker's done as much as you can ask him for. The rest of the team, Chris Paul's been an issue here late. It sucks because we all want to see CP3 win a title, but you got to earn it yourself. Monty Williams has been a hell of a coach. A lot of good role players, but just the last 3 games have not went their way. They've all been close, and that's what hurts the most for them is that they've come very close, and especially 2 of these games to be able to go out there and to win. So that's all I really have for it. I think that for the Phoenix Suns, it's tough. You were home in Game 5. You had a chance to win. They had a big lead early, and they let the Bucks back into it. So 3 losses in a row, you lose by 20, you lose by 6, you lose by 4. And you start with the Game 3. No panic, right? You lose 1 game against the opponent in their home. It's fine. But you outscored them by 3 in the first quarter, and then you got outscored by 18 in the second. Same exact theme in this last game. They're fatiguing themselves early in games. Gavin, I'll hand it over to you, man. Milwaukee Bucks, who were the 3 seed and slept on in the East this year, might be walking away as the NBA champions this year. Chris Paul might never get an NBA Finals appearance again. With the strongest teams in the West are getting, and as strong as the East is also getting, this is the year for teams like this, these underappreciated teams, to go out there and earn a title. Chris Paul might walk away with no ring in his career, which would suck and really diminish his chances of being the best point guard, one of the best point guards of all time. Of course, the ring is so important to add to that resume.
Well, first, I want to answer your initial question. Is Giannis enter the GOAT conversation? I'm going to say no, and here's why. He is a 2-time MVP. He is a couple-time All-Star. He is a Defensive Player of the Year. But here's the deal, Zach. When you're talking about GOAT, you're talking about guys with multiple rings, multiple other accomplishments, and also, Zach, they've been to multiple finals, and they've done multiple other things. There's a lot of things you can – first team, all NBA's first team defenses. You got a whole bunch of those all down the list. Rookie of years. Some of them didn't have some did get some. If Giannis wins a championship, we can no longer ignore him anymore, Zach. I would say that. when we're talking about the greatest big men, and I mean, this is where the conversation gets tough. Do you consider Giannis a center? I'm a power forward. I mean, I don't know where you put him. He plays power forward. Some make him out to be a center because how he plays. That's another conversation you got to think about. Where would you rank him among all times in a position? If you want to talk about power forwards, I mean, the great.
I put him in the Dirk category, the Tim Duncan category. I probably put him right. That's probably where I put him.
But the thing is when you talk about Tim Duncan, you talk about Dirk, you talk about guys that, one and two, in my honest opinion. I haven't saw that. Zach, I don't think he would be into the conversation to win championship, but it would be hard to ignore what he does. The next question would be is if he wins this championship, what's his Hall of Fame status going to be? Is he for sure Hall of Famer? That's the next question I have.
That's pretty. Now, I mean, it's been a short career. I mean, and it's not over, but two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, NBA Finals champion,
numerous time All-Star,
infinite All-Star. Yeah, that's not first ballot yet. Another title puts him in first ballot, but that's second ballot. That's first week of the voting that puts him in the Hall of Fame. Still a lot to go, though.
Now to answer my second question to you is, you talk about Chris Paul. You talk about Chris Paul's legacy. He might not make it back to another one. It's like it took him 16 years to get here, right? It took him 16 years to get here, and he might not make it back. It's like I would think Chris Paul would go down as one of the greatest leaders in NBA history. Whether it's rallying troops, showing them the way to win. I mean, Zach, you saw Oklahoma City, what happened to them. As soon as he left, you saw what happened to the Houston Rockets. Once he left, the team just decreases when he leaves. If he doesn't win this, Chris Paul stays at number 5 all time in my book when it comes to best point guards. He's in my honest opinion, I think it's Magic at 1. I have Magic at 1. I have Oscar Robertson in there, but I'm just going after Magic because Magic's 1.
Steph Curry's already up there.
Steph Curry's up there. Isaiah Thomas and
John Stockton.
And assist. And I mean, Zach, there's a lot of people to put there, and a lot of those people have championships. Some have numerous, but this will hurt. And finally, Zach, we talk about 2-0. What happened? Chris Middleton happened. That's what happened. I owe Chris Middleton apologies, Zach. I think so. What is this, Zach?
He's been phenomenal for them in the playoffs.
What, Zach? What's going on here? I mean, look, I get on Chris Middleton early in the year. I call Chris Middleton. He gets all-star type money. I said superstar type money, and he doesn't play like it. What does he do, Zach? After the Bucks win, he goes on this rampage. He scores what, 30, 38,
29 last 3.
It's unbelievable. What
and the Hawks series 32, 26, 29. He's been pretty, but I think another player too that's been, and I said this last year to you, when they had Drew Holiday, I said you better watch out because that may be right what they were missing. And it was pretty close. Drew Holiday, 27, 13, 21, 17, 27, 25, 19. He's been a phenomenal defender for them. So I think that Drew Holiday also deserves some recognition. But I got another question for you. They were talking about firing Mike Budenholzer in this Nets series. But they came out on top to win that game. I mean, I don't know, man. That's quite some rocky stuff. Mike Budenholzer, do you think if they lose this finals, they do fire him?
No. Because he finally did what he was supposed to do, which was get Giannis into the NBA Finals. Zach, Dom said it best. Our good buddy Dom from the show. He said Coach Bud is the best regular season coach, but when it comes to playoffs, not much. You sweep Miami, you beat Brooklyn in 7 by a Kevin Durant long foot toe, whatever you want to call it, Zach. And then you're going down in the finals. You beat Atlanta. And then you go to the NBA Finals. You're down 0-2, and you win the 3 straight. That does not get you.
Might win 4 straight.
You might win 4 straight. You might win 4 straight. They might not win another game ever again, Phoenix Suns. That does not get you fired, ladies and gentlemen. That asks people, well, what was the problem early in the year? It was a lot of new people, a lot of new faces. Had to get moving in a COVID season. In and out of the lineup.
Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton weren't shooting efficiently.
They were not. You couldn't find them.
For that.
And Zach, I'm gonna come on a limb and say this: Chris Middleton looks like Batman out there right now. These last couple games, and what I mean by Batman is at the end of the game, he has the ball. He's making the shots. He's going to the free throw line. Giannis can't shoot a free throw. Giannis can't shoot a three effectively. He can make one, Zach. I know there's a guy in Philadelphia that's 6'10", and we wish that could do that, but he can't. He's doing the things that Giannis has not been able to do at the end of the games, which is close. Now, Zach, you're right. He won't win Finals MVP. But if you've been watching these games, Chris Middleton has stepped up his play. He's playing up to his money, to something I was really critical about. They're going to be champions, Zach. It's going to be hard to ignore. And people like me who are Chris Middleton, I don't want to say haters, but we call Chris Middleton out when needed to. We will be silenced at the end of this finals, where they win or lose.
Very well might be. We'll have to see how that happens. Game 6 tomorrow night, 9 p.m. in Milwaukee. It's going to be quite a good game to watch. It's going to be quite the showdown.
They're not losing.
Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns, one of their all-stars right now, Chris Paul. 1 year left on the deal. Phoenix Suns take a risk to bring him in. Pretty successful season. If they lose tomorrow, even if they lose in 7, Chris Paul leaves Phoenix, let's say. You know where I could see him going?
I already know you're going to say it.
Not the Lakers.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
But the little brother returning to the LA Clippers. Because remember this, Kawhi Leonard tore his ACL. Yes, it finally came out as an official report.
I don't know why.
Just got his surgery. He can't play until April of next year at full speed. That's playoffs already. Chris Paul gets there, gets acclimated, becomes the 1-2 punch with Paul George and the role players and the phenomenal coach that they have. They make a top 5 seed, and then Kawhi comes back for the playoffs. Gavin, do you think with that coach and that Paul George and a good Chris Paul and a Kawhi Leonard coming back from injury, Nicholas Batum, Reggie Jackson off the bench, a couple other players that really stepped up this year for that team, they get another center in the offseason, let's say. Is anyone beating that Clippers team? Or at least do they give the Brooklyn the biggest threat? Chris Paul, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nicholas Batum, whoever the big will be. Reggie Jackson off the bench. I'm blanking on the other phenomenal player who did really good for them this year off the bench.
Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann. That's who it is. That could be a deadly combo if Chris Paul goes back to LA.
Because of how great of a coach Tyronn Lue is, I don't see them. I don't know, because we got to see what Brooklyn does. We got to see if they keep Kyrie Irving. There were some reports that a lot of people were frustrated with Kyrie Irving.
As I said before this season, they're going to self-destruct. I mean, bearing it, the reason they lost was because of injuries, more or less, not because of other things going on. But the offseason becomes, everything becomes all out there, all bets are off.
If Chris Paul were to go to the Clippers, I'm not sure. I am not sure because
let's see if they bring back maybe they bring back DeMarcus Cousins. He gets healthier and he starts. And they're starting. Here, listen to this: Chris Paul at the 1, Paul George. This is the playoff roster. So Kawhi Leonard, Nicholas Batum, DeMarcus Cousins, Terrence Mann, Reggie Jackson, Ivica Zubats off the bench. There's your top 8 players, which is what you get late in the playoffs.
See, here's the thing, Zach. You got guys like Klay Thompson, if he doesn't get hurt again, in what shape or form, we got to see what he does. Jamal Murray's going to come out with a vengeance, Zach. He won't be able to – I don't think he'll be able to start right away, but he will be back. You got guys like Damian Lillard. We got to see what happens to Damian Lillard. We got to see if he goes to L.A. or if he stays in Portland. As of right now, it looks like
a lot of question marks on the Western Conference. And I'm just looking at no big names in free agency. Hassan Whiteside's going to be now. We'll have to get Whiteside on a pretty balanced contract. Your starting lineup from that point would be Chris Paul, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nick Batum, best corner 3-point shooter in the league this year, pretty good for a 4. And then coming in at the number 5 would be Hassan Whiteside, who blocks and grabs boards.
It has to be the Hassan Whiteside of old. It can't be the recent Hassan Whiteside, because when you're talking about a guy in Hassan Whiteside, when he was in Portland, we thought that was going to work. We got a center in Portland that could help Damian Lillard. He underperformed. Zach, I don't think Hassan Whiteside's the answer. If you have to wait to see what type of Serge Ibaka you get back, if DeMarcus Cousins can improve, if he can tap into the old boogie of old. But we know, and I hate saying this, we know that the Lakers are going to get healthy. And we know the GM is going to load up and trade a lot of players away and get some new pieces in. We know that the Phoenix Suns, they're here to stay. We know that at some point, Donovan Mitchell has to win a playoff series at some point. There's a lot of question marks around the West. I don't, and to answer your original question is that if Chris Paul were to leave, he's not going to the Clippers. He's going to go to the Lakers. He will go there. It will be him, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. And I'll actually be interested to watch a Brooklyn and a Lakers finals then. And I want to see how that goes.
That's 6, 7 All-Stars on the floor at once. That's insane.
And this is why this finals is one of the most respected finals.
Yeah, it is. This is why it's a great one. It's a great opportunity for the Phoenix Suns. But with that being said, there's not much else in the NBA talks right now until the season ends. And then this summer we will see how the negotiations start. But I will say this to you before we do wrap it up. Philadelphia 76ers, of course, have officially made Ben Simmons available. I will say this, and I will hold to it no matter what.
Go for it.
If you don't get Damian Lillard in return, do not trade Ben Simmons. That's it. Ben Simmons will win you games. Ben Simmons will get you to the playoffs. Will he win you a late series in Game 7? No. We know that. But he got you everywhere there. Yes, Joel played great. Tobias played great. Seth played great. Everybody, yada, yada, yada. You replace Ben with any other point guard except for Damian Lillard, you're not doing that. So Damian Lillard is the only player who just barely because of his lack of defense, raises this team to championship caliber if you take Ben Simmons out of the picture. That's it. Defense, assists, playmaking. Say what you want about his ability to score. He is a broken offensive player. The only player I will take in return, and it will cost a lot for Philly, is Damian Lillard.
There's two players. There's two.
That's it. Who else?
There's two players I would take. First of all,
Curry's not available if that's who it is.
No. It wasn't Curry. Maybe I don't know if Bradley Beal's going to move or not, but I would look out for him to see if they try to get some for him. I know it's small.
Ben Simmons is a special kind of talent. Take all emotions out of it. Take all playoffs out of it. The only player who will increase your chances of winning is Damian Lillard. If you keep Ben, you slow down the other team's best players. However, you lose some offense. If you bring Damian Lillard in, you're going to not be able to slow down those guys as much, especially if it was Matisse Thybulle, but you increase your ability to outscore them. And that's kind of where it stands. That's the only deal, only player. I don't want De'Aaron Fox and whoever else Sacramento would give us. I don't want Zach LaVine. I want Damian Lillard. That's it. Otherwise, you bring Ben back. You get a real damn point guard. You know what you do? If you can't get Damian Lillard, here's what you do. You go hard coach on Ben. You do whatever you can to get him to shoot. Worst comes to worst, you move him to the power forward. You bring Kyle Lowry in. Your starting lineup is Kyle Lowry, Seth Curry, Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. That team may not win the title, but it gives them the best shot against a team like Brooklyn. I sound crazy saying it, but you can't deny Ben Simmons' talent.
See, Zach, I'd rather if you're gonna no, all right.
Don't do anything impulsive. Don't do anything impulsive. Lowry's a free agent. He's a veteran. He shoots. He's a good free throw shooter. Late in the game, you can trust him. You can take Ben out of the game, but you can't deny Ben's. You can take Ben out of the game, put Matisse Thybulle in for the defense when the offense needs to be there. But there's a way to make this work. Honestly, I think Doc Rivers lost the series more than Ben Simmons. Changed my mind.
We can argue that another day.
I think Doc Rivers is a bigger issue right now.
We can argue that another day. I would love to get into which I know we're going to end pretty soon, but I just want to say this. First of all, look, Daryl Morey, I know you're a genius, so I don't got to worry about this. No Kevin Love, no Colin Sexton, no De'Aaron Fox, even though Swiper the Fox is pretty good, but we were talking about Jamie. No Buddy Hield a couple years ago, maybe. All right. No one, no D'Angelo Russell. Okay, none of those guys.
I would take I'll make a running list. I would take Devin Booker for Ben Simmons. Okay. I would take Jimmy Butler for Ben Simmons.
Okay.
I would take Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons. I would take Donovan Mitchell for Ben Simmons. With some, I think you may have to get a little bit more compensation on both sides for that.
I'll take Bradley Beal.
I would take Jason Tatum. And I would probably take Steph Curry. I need a killer. I want Jimmy Butler.
But what?
You're not going to get him.
Bradley Beal went for 60. I'm taking Bradley Beal.
I will take Bradley Beal. If you can get Ben Simmons, Bradley Beal, I'll take Bradley Beal.
But here's the thing. Look, and if not, and you never know, there is as much as Damian Lillard says, no, I don't want to leave, we know darn well, Zach. I mean, how many times have people say we don't want to leave, and the next thing you know, they leave? Like, just to say.
Hold up. Kyle Lowry, very underrated year, 17 points a game, 43% shooting, 40% three-point shooting. You add that to what you already have. Do you really need to get rid of Ben Simmons then, or can you actually work to develop him?
Hey, we're talking about playoffs. Wait a minute, Zach. Let's go to the point because I'll never forget this. The meme came out where the guy said Kyle Lowry had 2 points or 8 points.
He's an NBA champion. Kyle Lowry is an NBA champion. When he's not the guy, he is fine.
Leonard, right? When he's not the
you
guy.
have Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, and Ben Simmons in that game. And Seth Curry, who came up big.
Look at the team that
you had Kyle Lowry to this year's team, and you shortened the bench rotation to 2 or 3 guys max, which is Doc Rivers' fault. They win the NBA title. No question in my mind. Not a single question. This team got so unlucky this year with Ben Simmons' inability to do anything. He can get better, but you have to reduce that risk. And the coaching hurt as well. That's all I have to say. I think Ben Simmons is that much of a talent. However, Damian Lillard, yeah, I'm sending Ben Simmons out like that pretty quick.
I'll pack his bags for him. Dude.
If you get Damian Lillard, I'll pack his bags.
I'll pack his bags for him. There will never be a quicker moving service than Gavin Incorporation because I will move his stuff in a snap of a finger. Zach. And also, too, I don't want to pay Kyle Lowry. Now, this is a different story. If Kyle Lowry was like, oh, I want 10, 20 minutes, no. You're old. You're old. If Kyle Lowry comes here on a cheap deal, I would do it. But we're talking about a guy. We're talking about winning a championship. I don't think Kyle Lowry has another run in him because it wasn't even his run to begin with. And if I remember correctly, Fred VanVleet, the NBA version of Drake, the active player, did more than Kyle Lowry did. I don't want to hear this. I really don't. It was
40% three-point shooter. I mean.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
This is only if you can't get Damian Lillard, by the way.
This is only.
That's it.
So outside of your list of players, and I have mine, is Steph Curry. If you can, that's the far.
Obviously impossible, but yeah.
Bradley Beal. Possible. Damian Lillard.
Very much possible.
Which should be your first.
You're most likely.
Most likely. You say Jimmy Butler. I don't see that. Donovan Mitchell just got paid, so he's not leaving.
No, those two are shot in the dark for me, but that's what I'm saying. I want that killer kind of.
What about Reggie Jackson? No, okay.
I like Reggie, but this is a win now team, and Reggie's not. Reggie's in the perfect spot for him to win now.
Well, it'll be loyal for him. He said he says all about loyalty. But it's like, how about another name?
Loyalty's BS when you can't win a ring.
If you could, now I just want to lead this on this last note. You're talking about Kyle Lowry, right? Now, I just saw a guy who I really like, and Derrick Rose. We have one of the best players. Now, even though they didn't win the series, he looked pretty damn good in that playoff run. Now, Tom Thibodeau is this guy. I don't think he would leave, but if there's a chance that you could get Derrick Rose, and this is if Damian Lillard fails, if you get Derrick Rose, bring him off the bench or do something, and then you compensate with Ben Simmons somewhere else and get some more pieces, what would you do? Because we need offense, Zach. We need.
Is he on contract?
I have to look that up, but I'm not 100% sure. But
I'm not sending Ben Simmons to the Knicks.
Oh, I wouldn't send Ben Simmons. This is you get Derrick Rose some other way, and then you compensate for the loss and whatever that is with Ben Simmons.
Give him Maxey and some picks.
I would do that for Lillard.
Without having to include Simmons.
Max, yeah, but
now,
Max.
Portland knows how valuable Ben Simmons is, and they might not. If they commit to CJ McCollum, then they would have Ben Simmons come in, and that'd be a good fit. In my opinion, obviously right now they want to keep Damian Lillard, but if Lillard wants out, in my opinion, Ben Simmons would actually work really well there for them because you have CJ McCollum. You got to get a few more volume shooters around Ben. Obviously, Ben's got to develop. So, there's just a couple things that you can take a look at. Chauncey Billups could work with him. So,
and we're not going to leave that debate. Doc Rivers lost us a series. I got some interesting takes on that one. Bring it for another day.
I'm confident he did, but that certainly be a good debate for us later in the week. Coming up tomorrow, possibly some NBA Finals coverage during the day or before it. Stay tuned for it. We'll continue to cover it. The Philadelphia Phillies play tonight in New York, the Bronx specifically, against the Yankees. The Phillies have a tough stretch coming up. They have tomorrow night, 7 to 5 p.m. Tonight is a travel day, I guess, because it's such a long drive to the Bronx. But tomorrow and Wednesday, 2-game series against the Yankees, and then a 4-game series at home against Atlanta. And in the meantime, the Queens sister team, the New York Mets, play today at 7:10 in Cincinnati, a team that is on a roll. So let's hope that the Reds can pull off some wins here and help the Phillies out a little bit as they move their way towards first place.
We need a prayer for the Phillies, and especially when it comes to the stretch. Zach, the Yankees have been struggling, but they're finding a stride as of late a little bit. Garrett
Big
Cole,
win yesterday in Boston. And by the way, whoever threw the baseball at Verdugo, let's stop being dumb. That was inappropriate.
unnecessary, really unnecessary. Zach, I will. My final statements is this: the Phillies aren't being a disappointment. The Sixers were a disappointment, and yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like that.
I'm going to say this for the rest of history. This was the year for the Sixers to win the NBA Finals, but then again, you could have said that a couple years ago, so maybe times will change. With that being said, we hope you enjoyed it. We missed you all last week. We'll be here as much as we can this week.
We're
Stay
back.
tuned for some fun ones this week, and stay tuned the rest of the week.
Have a good one, everybody. We're back.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos. Again, thanks for watching.